A recent article was released in Saskatoon stating that there are at least 475 homeless people living in the city. That includes 461 adults, 3 children, and 11 youth who were observed and surveyed. In 2005, the federal estimate of the core number of homeless people in Canada was about 200,000 people, or around 1% of the population. Advocates working with and beside the homeless population estimate that number could be closer to 20,000 annually, or 30,000 on any given night. These numbers include 6,000 youth without a place to sleep on a nightly basis, and 30,000 youth annually. According to the more conservative numbers, the annual cost of homelessness in Canada in 2008 was approximately $5.5 to $7 billion in emergency services, organizations, and nonprofits. So what's happened in Canada that caused the spikes in homelessness? Well, one thing that has caused a wave in these numbers was that in 1999, about 2.8 million households fell below the minimum amount required to afford a basic home. This means some of the homeless population who make use of the homeless shelters are also employed, but don't make enough to make up the total amount to cover rent and utilities and any other basic costs that come with that. 5 years later, in 2004, that number rose to 3.2 million households. In the US, they started a program called Housing First. It's a movement to put homeless people into homes. This may seem like a waste of taxpayers' money to some people, but the stability of a home means fewer costly trips to hospitals and interactions with police and the courts, as well as taking shelters out of the equation. Alberta's former progressive conservative government was a big supporter of the Housing First movement from the United States and rolled out a 10-year plan to end homelessness in the province. The government reported it can cost over $100,000 annually to support a chronically homeless person, while under the Housing First program, it can cost less than $35,000 per year to provide permanent housing and the supports they need to break the cycle of homelessness. Between 2008, when the initiative was first rolled out, and 2015, the homelessness rate had already dropped by 16%, and the City of Medicine Hat had effectively ended homelessness by 2015 using this program. Maybe if more cities in Canada had rolled this program out sooner, Paul Ostamas' victims would still be alive, and perhaps Ostamas himself would have found the mental help he needed. On April 25, 2015, the bodies of 65-year-old Donald Collins and 48-year-old Stoney Bushy were found in back alleys near Hargrave Street and Portage Avenue in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Both men had been brutally beaten and left for dead. Paul Ostamas had a violent history in the Thunder Bay area. His records included a domestic assault from March 2015. Multiple assaults dating back to 2002 are scattered throughout his past. A few days before his arrest, he met with Brenda Sinclair to talk about Ostamas renting a room from her. When police came to her door asking questions about him, Brenda demanded to know what he had done. She was shocked to learn that the man she had in her home and was about to live with was facing 3 murder charges. So open your eyes and gaze into the abyss as we delve deeper into Canada's crawl space.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message. Breaking news, a school shooting with reports of multiple fatalities, this time in Santa Fe, Texas.
20 to 24 people dead. At least 59 now dead. More than
possible school shooting at Saskatchewan in Canada.
A suspected serial killer in Toronto. The 66-year-old landscaper Bruce McCarthy
police in Winnipeg may have stopped a serial killer. John Paul Ostamas has been charged with murder.
A number of fatalities. We don't know.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, so just the one foghorn on that one.
You copped out.
I just didn't like how the change between the two happens. I don't think anybody else would have noticed it even.
No, they wouldn't have.
No. It's me that I'm
Can you hear me?
on.
Am I heard?
I'm heard.
Did you sound
I'm
it?
hearing you a little bit there, Corey.
Totally heard.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Corey.
Welcome back.
I think we should be loud enough.
We're all together again. It's all three of us now.
The threesome is complete.
17.5 is no more. Rolling right into 18.
Hard.
And 18.5.
Maybe.
I'd like to...
Not recorded today, probably.
I'd like to start today off. We do have a sponsorship today. And
we haven't introduced the show or anything yet.
I'm just going to...
Well, it's a lot of podcasts.
I'm just going to cover the sponsorship, and then we'll talk about who we are and
all about the money first.
how much money we make.
Okay.
Today's podcast is brought to you by our sponsors, ABC's The Connors. Have you ever wondered what it'd be like to watch 90s Roseanne in 2018? With all the classic cast members and a surprisingly alive John Goodman? Minus Roseanne, who the entire show centered around and the premise necessitated? Well, thanks to Roseanne being a racist, drug-addled, War of the Worlds hating, Charlton Heston grave-spitting, pizza-eating, Detroit-pawning, Satan-worshipping, bingo-playing, Twitter-tweeter, this is now your reality. The Connors, starring the transgender grandchild and the single mother. Also starring John Goodman as the construction worker without any work. And DJ as the son not living at home. Coming to ABC this fall.
I'd watch it.
That's where the foghorn needs to be.
This is actually happening, guys.
Yeah.
The Connors is
I heard
coming.
about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prepare your butts.
Prepare your butts.
If it's got John Goodman, that's good enough for me.
Your hearts are going to fall out of your butts this coming fall.
This is Canada's Crawl Space.
It is.
We just made $10.
No, we didn't.
From ABC, we only got $10. We got totally screwed over.
Hey, we don't have that Roseanne money.
Roseanne doesn't have that
doesn't
Roseanne money
anymore either.
I don't know. I think they have to buy her out. I think they had to because although ABC owned the rights to the show, Roseanne still had like the intellectual rights to the property. So
yeah,
I think they had to give her a little sum of money there to send her on her way. So it'll be interesting to see what happens from here.
I still probably won't watch it.
I enjoyed watching Roseanne.
I did back in the day when the new season came out. I was like, "That's pretty interesting," but I didn't watch it.
I thought it was a pretty good show.
You did a really good read there. Like it was really good.
He was practicing that on the way over.
Yeah, as I was driving.
Yeah,
it's not texting and driving. If you're just reading.
If we do get sponsors ever, you're going to be the reader for them.
Well, there you go, guys. Yeah. Now you know. Hook us up. For now, we'll just keep dishing out fake sponsorships until the real ones come. We won't actively seek any out, but if you want to come to us, that's cool.
If I ever find myself at Lucky Bastard Distillery, for some reason, maybe I'll ask them. But I'm not going to go out of my way for it.
Yeah, it's hard to make money if none of us try, right?
Yeah. Well, what we could do is just book a tour there and go taste all their stuff, and then talk to them with sponsorship, and then we can go out to Black Fox, do that, and head to Provincial. Vodka,
get a bunch of booze.
Yeah.
So then the podcast recording is going to be like a 5-hour thing where we just get fucking obliterated before it.
It would
turn we do that once a month.
Yeah, once a month.
I don't think our sponsors would like the fact that our other sponsors are in direct competition with them, though.
Well, no. We find out which one's going to give us the best.
Bidding war.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wants us?
Yeah.
Who's good?
Then, or they give us like a 2-month sponsorship, and then we move on to the next one.
I fucking love it.
It's probably not going to give us an open-ended sponsorship. But you never know.
I heard a rumor
What was the rumor?
That Jesse has a rant today.
Oh yes.
I do have a rant. My rant is about garage sales, which normally I love. But you got to watch out what you're buying from them. So I was at a garage sale in Allen today, and we bought a...
I'm going to stop you for a second. Was this a garage sale or a yard sale?
I guess it was more yard sale than garage sale.
Caught him already. Slipping.
They've already been lying.
So we bought a 4-in-1 bassinet because we've got a little daughter coming our way in August.
Yay.
And so yeah, all packaged up in the box. It was tucked, taped, tied, closed. My wife's like, is everything in this? And the guy's like, yeah, we used it, and then we gave it to a friend to use for a weekend, and then they brought it back, and everything should be in there. So like, all right, sweet. Buy it, take it home back to Saskatoon, open it up. There's no instruction manual. So I was like, well, we have the internet. I can figure this out. Google simplicity for children, 4-in-1 bassinet. First, like 30 things that come up. Simplicity bassinets recalled, 13 children dead. I was like,
oh fuck.
And so I scroll. I was like, maybe Simplicity has a website. Maybe this isn't on the thing.
This would have buried them.
Oh yeah, Simplicity is no more. They are done. And yeah, sure enough, the bassinet that we bought is on the recall and should not have been fucking resold.
Yeah, you fucking garage.
So what did you still put it together or what?
No, it's in pieces in my van, waiting to go to the metal recycler.
No, these things sound like they're possessed, like they're killing 13 children.
Well,
like
couldn't you have sent that into who? Because I mean, there must be a fund that it's been appropriated to that recall, right?
Maybe, but this was from 2007.
So is there a statute of limitations on recalls?
Well, how am I going to get a recall from a company that doesn't exist anymore?
Because they usually have to legally have a fund available for recalls.
Oh, just for that.
But this is a decade ago.
I know, but still, when a company lands in hot water like that, you know, like how there's a civil suit launched, and then a company's even if a company goes under or declares bankruptcy, they're still required to find a way to pay for this. I mean, they may not, but I'd message somebody about it and be like, hey, I spent $400 on this 10 years ago. What's going on?
It's trying to kill my child.
My unborn child. That makes it even scarier.
It talks to me at night.
As soon as you put that last piece together, it starts to glow.
It starts whispering.
And hover above the air.
And then its head falls off.
Yeah. Pentagram forms around it. Fucking old lady runs in and puts a salt circle around you.
I protect you. Get in the salt circle. Who are you, lady? What are you doing here?
Stop wasting my salt.
Little known fact, Poltergeist took down Simplicity.
Wow, now it's a well-known fact. I was thinking more like a little Italian woman or something like that, or a baba.
All the while she's giving the devil horns for the evil eye.
Yeah.
You not like pierogi? Demon do not like pierogi. Pierogi.
Now it's a Ukrainian woman.
Yeah, baba. Yeah.
Polish even. Oh, jeez.
Nobody doesn't like pierogies.
If you could literally bless anything and make it a weapon of God, you could fucking bless pierogies and use them as a weapon. Why not?
Yeah,
I'd use like ninja stars or something.
My Baba and Dito used to get the priest to come in on Easter Sunday, I think, or whenever the meal was. I don't think it's on the day, but whenever the big meal is, they come in and bless all the food and everything. So all of those could be like
every Sunday. Yeah.
Everything was keeping the devil away.
Yeah, it's all a weapon for God. Yeah.
The 90s was all about the devil coming to take everybody away. If you did anything bad, you're.
Well, I think that was up until
yeah, that
now,
was hundreds
basically.
of years.
Yeah. That was
but for us in general, for me anyways, I really felt the presence of like, you're going to go to hell if you do something bad in the 90s.
I would have
loved
these
hot cross buns, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been
so you
a
have to
fly
cleanse
on
your
the
inside
wall.
too with the food.
When they decided that they were going to like create the devil to fucking scare everybody into following the religion.
Yeah.
I just imagine it's like, okay, guys, now we got this great fucking money-making scheme here, but how do we make people pay us? And how do we keep them fucking obedient and loyal? And then he's just like, I got an idea. Let's create a villain, and if they don't obey us and pay us, then the fucking villain will take them to hell. Yeah,
I don't think it would have been about money to start with.
Everything's about money.
Eventually it would have, but like the evil forces have been around since before there was money.
Yeah, but evil forces have always been a form of fucking obedience too. Because I mean, if you tell somebody that something bad's going to happen if they don't do something,
yes, but obedience, but not necessarily money. It was monetized, like especially the Catholic Church did it when they started paying for. Is it devotions? No, not devotions.
Tithing.
No, it's something else. But it's like when you could pay off your sins is what you were doing.
Yeah.
No, that's when it became a real
I know what
big
you're saying about
moneymaker.
monetization. Yeah, okay. Originally, it may have been done out of fear, and then, but I mean, as you know, everything corrupts, right? And as soon as somebody gets a little bit of power, then they realize they can have it all, and then you have the Catholic Church and religion as it is today. Fuck you.
Well, they have their good points and they have their bad points, and the new pope seems to be doing some pretty interesting things.
Yeah, the new pope's a fucking
faggot. To quote,
I don't think he is.
To quote Tombstone Diaries, my old band, where we chanted "fuck all religion, fuck all religion." I'm actually not even in that. Like that was my rebellious shit.
Well, what did the new pope was just recently on the warpath there? What was he fucking just whining about there?
I don't know.
He was whining about something recently.
He's been seen as something of a good thing for the church.
I know he was just saying that they would never apologize for residential schools, and then even though the archdiocese already has.
I wonder if that is actually a monetary thing.
Yeah.
Because if you
take responsibility, then you're liable, right?
Well, maybe that was my thoughts about it.
And I'm sure that is something. Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't pay taxes. They got their own fucking country, Vatican City,
which I'd like to go to.
Me too.
But yet they're non-profit, or it's not that they're a charitable organization. They don't pay taxes. Fuck, it's a racket. That's the way to make money. Look at those Look at those mega churches in the States with the fucking pastors that drive Porsches and fucking Carreras and own mansions, and these people just fucking file in and throw money in a hat.
Who's that one that wants that fucking private jet? He wants his people to buy him a private jet, or his followers.
Oh fuck, I don't know. But look at Peter Popoff.
All of them do want it, but this one guy is recently in the news for it. I can't remember which one.
Peter Popoff got busted in the 80s or 90s for fucking falsifying everything because his wife was feeding him information through an earpiece. And he's still going. He's still going with fucking miracle water and give me money and God will give you money. And it's like, isn't the foundation of the Bible that material possessions are meaningless? And now this guy's saying that God wants to give you money.
It's more like God wants me to have it.
God says, you pay me and I'll talk to God personally and I'll get you fucking money. I'll send you a check. It's so fucking stupid. And there's people that fall for it every day, and it's insane.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that was Corey's rant of the day.
Well, this is like I was just like all three. I'm not gonna lie. I feel a little weird today, guys. I'm on day 3 of not smoking, so
good for you.
There's a
little cranky.
You still look pretty.
You do still look very good.
I'm hoping once I stop smoking completely, I will have money to make myself look even prettier.
Have you seen that show, The Middle?
Yes, I have actually.
That vegetarian or vegan friend of the one kid looks just like Sean. It's uncanny.
I don't know it that well to know.
I'm gonna find a picture of him as we go.
That should go up on the Instagram.
So what? Yeah, we'll do a comparison side by side with me. All right, so we are talking about today. That was a weird sentence that I just said.
Oh, fuck. The guy's name is legitimately Sean Donahue as well.
Fuck.
Now watch this.
What's up, Sean Don?
Sean Donahue.
Everybody,
you'll see this.
Sean Donahue.
We'll post this onto
Instagram.
We'll post this on Instagram later. Right here. Right here.
Right there. There is definitely some resemblance to Sean there.
I'm going to take a look. Oh, shit. Yeah. there is kind of actually. Like, especially with me growing my hair out.
We were watching The Middle, and then we're like, what the fuck? Is that Sean?
I say Jesus a lot, too. I'm trying to be saved.
Jesus.
So today we are talking about true crime, like every other episode. And the subject matter of today's episode is John Paul Ostamas. What do you got?
Prime.
Ostamas.
Waiting for something.
Ostamas Prime. Roll out Autobots.
All right, so I'll just jump right in. 40-year-old John Paul Ostamas. Have I said it 2 different times already? 2 different ways already?
Probably.
Yeah,
Yes, you have.
matter.
You said Ostamas.
Yeah.
And Ostamas.
Okay. Was living in Winnipeg in 2015. Over the years, he would come and go from different cities,
that is
but
not
he's
good.
originally...
Oh,
What kind is that?
a Marzen. Fuck.
Marzen beer?
Oh, that is way too grainy. It's
Does it
from
taste like
Ontario. Leave it to Ontario to fuck up beer.
Okay.
Oh, it's so bad.
Over the years, he would come and go from different cities, but he is originally from the Thunder Bay area in Ontario.
From the Fort Hope First Nations.
There we go. Oh yeah, just cut me off anytime you need to, Jesse. I know you have a bunch more information. Like most cities, living on the streets of Winnipeg is dangerous. Addiction and mental health problems run rampant, and news that a killer targeting the homeless was on the loose just added to the already tense state. The news report I got this part from didn't mention these men's names, but one homeless man said,
I would walk all night at a time. I like that, but when there's killers on the loose, you don't know who you're walking up behind.
Another man said,
This is going to bring people's awareness of how hard the streets are.
See, that's a guy looking at the silver lining right
exactly.
there.
Well, we lost some
good people, but
maybe
this will
they'll
shine
actually-
a light.
Maybe they'll actually start taking care of us. We're looking out for us. All right. Not a lot is known about Ostamas' background, and I'm guessing that's because it's... Unless, Jesse, you have a bunch of stuff on his background.
Well, I have some stuff that I'm going to throw in a little bit, 3 paragraphs from now.
Okay, all right. There hasn't been, like, the books or interviews done, so the literature hasn't been written yet. What we do know is that Ostamas was a transient and had a history of assaults. Greg Brodsky... Brodsky. I'm going to say Brodsky.
Brodsky.
Greg Brodsky, man. Ostamas' lawyer would only release the bare minimum of what he had to about his client. He didn't say much about his past or even his mental state. Brodsky said,
I sensed he was in a distressed mood because of the nature of the charges against him.
throughout his 10 years of coming and going from Winnipeg, John had very little contact with Winnipeg police. Prior to the investigation, the only time the police had to deal with him was from a Jesus Christ, guys. To deal with him was from a domestic assault that had taken place in March of 2015. So around a month before this case came up in the news.
So this isn't from his time in Winnipeg, but this is from his time in northwestern Ontario.
Perfect.
So one of his victims was so court documents indicate that Ostamas, whatever.
We're all going to do that.
Had been charged more than 40 times for offenses that range from mischief and uttering threats to assault with a weapon and assault causing bodily harm. One of his victims was a woman who, along with her husband, took care of an apartment building in northwestern Ontario. One night, 8 years ago from the time of this story, which was 2015, Ostamas caused a commotion when the couple tried to calm him down, according to the women.
Oh, fuck, I gotta do a woman.
Then he came at my husband and started pounding on him. I said, hey, what are you doing? And he turned around and he gave me a couple of shots.
She told CBC News Late Night Wednesday,
It wasn't provoked, not in the least.
The voice is so strained. She's not well.
Ostamas pleaded guilty to assaulting the woman, her husband, and one of their tenants. She said she hadn't seen him since that night. Ostamas was charged with assault and uttering threats in connection with another case involving a woman near Thunder Bay.
Great day for Thunder Bay. If anybody watches Letterkenny.
Me and my common law had a creepy feeling, the mother of the alleged victim said in an interview. I didn't like his atmosphere around us or around my daughter. You hear a lot of women that talk like that. Come on.
The mother said she found knives in the couple's bedroom after they left. The woman said she also remembers Ostamas pounding on the back of her minivan seat and being verbally abusive to her daughter during a family road trip to the United States. Same voice.
More quotes.
I was getting afraid of him, and he was trying to get my daughter out of the van so he can sell her in stateside somewhere, she said.
So he was trying to pimp her out.
Trying to sell her. Jesus.
Just taking your daughter to pimp her out, don't worry.
You almost sound like Tina Rex from Orgasmo.
Oh, yeah.
You better make me come or I'm going to kick your butt.
I'd have a hard time. But following the alleged assault, the woman said her daughter broke up with Ostamas, which sounds like a good idea.
Or that woman in what was that old Road Trip?
Road Trip?
I'm going to fuck you till you die.
So a little bit more background on Ostamas. He was a big Facebook user. He had at least 4 Facebook pages under his name.
Right. I didn't cover any of that stuff.
2 of which were under Jonathan Ostamas. I looked up one of them. He won't friend me. No. On the day that 2 of his victims were found, he was actually posted up Notorious B.I.G. Somebody's Gotta Die, which is sort of a fitting thing. And that's about what. No, there's a little bit more I can add in. So the pastor from Believers Fellowship, Steve Byler, lived in Kenora. He knew Ostamas through his church's Mennonite outreach program. He said Ostamas was a transient who often traveled through Kenora.
Gotta find the voice.
Okay, I'm ready. He seemed like a very needy person, and basically, he was trying to work through his issues, and deal with his past, Baylor said. Baylor says he knew about Ostamas' criminal past, but he never expected to hear about the murder charges in Winnipeg. I was in complete shock and disbelief. I honestly thought, is this true? Is this the right guy? He said. Edwin Bird met Ostamas in 2010, and he said the two became friends and roommates for a couple months 2 years ago. I thought he wouldn't do nothing like that, but I forget. He wasn't taking his meds, too. He said, adding that he thinks Ostamas had schizophrenia. Bird said Ostamas was last in Kenora looking for a place to stay on April 12th. The last day Baylor heard from Ostamas, and just 2 days after one of his alleged victims, 37-year-old Miles Munoz was found beaten to death at a bus shelter on Main Street in Winnipeg.
You're stepping on Sean's lines right now.
Shit.
Which, is he reading? Okay, he's reading yours though. Okay,
I'm reading his, but I'm going to yours.
Okay. I was just like, well, Corey.
I'm trying to do.
Corey's like, I'm more than just voices, guys.
There's a guy on YouTube, and he does super good lists. They're like top 10 creepiest fucking things lists and everything like that, and it's always really good information. But the guy himself cannot fucking.
You've talked about him before.
List. It's so bad, and I was listening to it the other day too. I was like, oh fuck, good list. But I'm like, oh fuck, it's from this guy. And then he comes on. He's like, time to do the top 10, and then they said, don't do it, and they didn't. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, how do I listen to this? Your information is, hire somebody to read your information, buddy. You're a fucking robot. Please.
Can I get this in text form?
Yeah, put it into Siri or something like that.
Yeah, even get
less robotic.
Get an AI to read it. An AI would read that with more inflection than he would. It's so fucking bad. It's insane. I'm gonna like play it for you after this podcast. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna fucking find it right now and play it for everybody. I'm gonna play it for everybody.
Let's continue after all that. Or was there more right now, or is it?
There's more that can take place like after the murder, sort of.
Okay. All right, let's get into the crimes then.
Oh fuck.
Oh, what's this?
It's an ad first.
Oh, hold on, ad first. Okay, here he comes, guys.
They have sponsors.
Yeah. Get ready for him.
On that which we cannot explain. Though sometimes having all of the answers offers no
reassurance. This is really bad.
Here are 10 videos where the explanation is just as terrifying as the mystery itself. Number 10.
Number 10.
Is getting some snacks
Wesley.
At a convenience store late at night. CCTV video.
He reminds me of the guy, the robot from Clone High.
While on the phone with her boyfriend,
he is fucked.
telling him that she will be over soon. The surveillance system
Okay,
also
that's enough.
catches
You'll just let the whole thing.
Oh, there's only 11 minutes, fuck.
But seriously,
That's 12 minutes too long.
he sounds like the robot butler from Clone
He does,
High.
yeah. Wesley.
Found it in the bathroom next to your YM.
It's so fucking bad.
And your BM.
It's like, dude.
Wesley.
It's like, and he must know that he fucking sucks at talking. So like,
maybe that's his
His
shtick
niche.
now.
yeah, no, but nobody likes it. It's not like people are like, fuck that. Oh, that's so good. That sounds so.
Maybe at the beginning
good.
he was so self-conscious that he like went to like what would it be like dialogue school, learn how to put in
learn how to learn how to
voice and
speak
stuff.
like a human being.
Yeah, but then when he put out one episode after these lessons, his like day one fans were like, "What the fuck, man? You're so loud."
Why don't you sound like a fucking heartless robot anymore, man? Where's the energy? Where's the charisma? Where's the personality?
We need all that stuff down.
Yeah,
all that shit down.
Where is it? We don't want it. Where is it? I hope it's gone.
The worst day ones ever. Day one fans. All right, let's get into the murders. Miles Manias.
Munoz.
I heard it say Manias.
It probably is Munoz.
Yeah, I have no clue.
I just know Ernest Munoz.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, it could be that, I guess. On April 10th, 2015, 37-year-old Miles Manias was sitting in a bus shelter on Main Street. Oh yeah, you weren't going right into that stuff.
I've already covered this, Sean.
I was in a trance while you were doing that. I was just like mesmerized by what you were saying.
Sean's like,
how fast you were doing it.
I think he's done. I think we're done the podcast.
And I was like, I'm looking at Jesse, and Jesse's letting it go. I'm like, okay.
Jesse's just biting his finger.
Give me that.
All right. 37-year-old Miles Manias was sitting in a bus shelter on Main Street in the early morning hours. Now, April in the prairies is typically still pretty fucking cold, especially in the mornings.
Especially in Winnipeg.
Yeah, and Winnipeg's even colder than here probably too, eh?
Yep.
So I'm assuming Miles was trying to stay warm the best he could.
Farting in his ski pants.
Yeah. Ostamas was wandering the area when he came across Manias in that bus shelter and viciously attacked him. Ostamas left him there, bleeding profusely from the attack, to die and walked away. Manias later died in hospital. Police were notified and an investigation began, but there were no witnesses or any leads. It would be just over 2 weeks for Miles Manias' killer to be found. Changing pages.
You can hear it.
All right. Don Collins. On April 25th, Ostamas encounters 65-year-old Don Collins in the downtown area of Winnipeg. Together they attended the laneway that evening, and in a back alley, Ostamas viciously attacked and beat Collins. He also stabbed him several times and then strangled him.
That'll do it.
Yeah. Stoney Bushi. His final victim was 48-year-old Stoney Bushi. After Ostamas killed Collins, he stays around the downtown area of Winnipeg, where he eventually meets up with Bushi. Together they go to a parkade near Hargrave and Portage. Without warning, Ostamas. I wrote warming down there. I was just,
it was cold still.
Cold, but I was just like,
you're waiting for Jesse.
I was gonna just like because I said it right, but I paused beforehand. I was just gonna let it go, but I'm like, no, I'm still thinking about it. Ostamas, without warning, Ostamas, like with his other victims, attacked and brutally beat Bushi into unconsciousness and left him there for dead.
That beating was actually on camera.
Really?
It was behind the APTN news studio in Winnipeg.
Okay. Yeah.
And when Bushi's body was found, it was by their security guard doing his rounds.
Holy shit.
And he saw legs sticking out or whatever, so he called the police, and the police came to investigate. And APTN sent out a camera crew while the police were there. And the police actually confiscated their cameras and kept everything for the investigation, which torqued off the reporters. But yeah, their closed circuit camera showed the attack, which was
wow,
pretty damning evidence.
Yeah, I would say so.
Could you find that online anywhere? Probably not.
Oh, I bet you could.
You probably could if you did some deep net diving somewhere.
Some dark web stuff.
I don't even think you'd have to delve that far.
You should be able to get onto the Manitoba government page and find Although that stuff might be locked up and everything still, hey?
Because it's
only 3 years ago.
Well, and it's personal footage because it's a closed circuit. It's not.
It was never actually made public.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure it exists.
I would definitely exist.
All right. Bushi had 71 different injuries and was left unrecognizable after being beaten with a 2x4 and a steel bar. Stony Bushi's friend, Henry Owens, said,
"It's totally shocking, because he was homeless. Like, I know, in town, and he was just trying to get along with a lot of people and no problem with a lot of people,
Ostamas knew that Collins and Bushi, he knew both Collins and Bushi, but it remains a mystery whether these were targeted attacks or crimes of opportunity. So police find Ostamas fairly easily. He didn't try to leave the city or anything. He was actually just going about his normal day and meeting with Brenda Sinclair to talk about renting a room from her. That's the one that I talked about in the beginning there, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So court stuff. I like how I actually wrote court stuff. Ostamas didn't say why he killed the men, but did say he was sorry and willing to accept the consequences, and that he knew he was wrong. He pleaded guilty to 3 counts of second-degree murder. Now here's the kicker for me. Prosecutors had no clue that Ostamas had a long-standing diagnosis of schizophrenia until minutes before he was sentenced for the 3 murders.
You'd think as his defense lawyer, you would have brought that up real quick.
Yeah, you would think so.
And so that's during the sentencing. So the trial's already gone on. He's already been found guilty.
Yeah, and that was his mental health had never been brought up.
Yeah, like that. That's a bad lawyer.
Sheila Linebird, who prosecuted the case, said,
"It surprised me in the sense that I was shown it just before the judge walked into the courtroom. Normally, that's something that's raised prior to the 11th hour."
All right, so this was known to the defense attorney, who showed the prosecutor a psychiatric evaluation from 2002, minutes before Judge Vic Toes entered the room. During sentencing, the defense read a. I'm doing real bad at reading today. This hasn't happened in a few episodes.
Are you high?
I'm not.
There's your problem.
There's my problem. Yeah. During sentencing, the defense read a letter from Ostamas' sister, Kate, that detailed years of mental health problems, stays in psychiatric units, and paranoid delusions.
So, why is this during the sentencing?
Yeah.
That should have been brought up during the trial.
You'd think so.
I take it was a publicly appointed defense attorney?
Or presumably, because he was a homeless guy, he probably didn't have a whole lot of money to throw at anything.
Maybe because he knows what he did was wrong, because he said that he knew he was wrong.
True, but still, a schizophrenic. Look at Vince. We know what schizophrenic people can get away with.
And even though they know it's wrong at that time, they don't, right? Because they think they're
while it's happening.
They think they're fighting aliens or fucking stopping the conquest of Mordor.
So I wonder why he never said any, if he heard voices or anything like that, or what kind of, why he did it.
No, maybe he just didn't. Maybe he just wanted to take full responsibility without. Maybe he was one of those guys that actually wanted to,
wanted to be a gangster.
Well, he just wanted to be punished. Maybe.
Yeah. So his sister describes times when Ostamas would lock himself in his room for long periods of time, not eat, and neglect his personal hygiene to the point where he lost all his teeth.
Ugh, that's a long time of not brushing your teeth.
This next, this is a quote for you. This is his sister, Corey.
He would stay in his room, and in his room it was dark and the windows were covered up. He was so thin I was scared for his life.
During one of these manic episodes, Ostamas showed up at his sister's home with a knife, terrified for his life. She said,
"He came to me and said he was afraid there were people after him. He wanted me to help him. I looked out my door and checked my windows. I didn't see anyone. No one was in sight, and all I could do was pray for him."
Moments before he was sentenced, Ostamas told the court,
"You made me this way. You made me like this."
It's like what's his name from the Goonies.
I was thinking more. I went to do more like this.
"You made me this way."
You mean
I just realized
Rocky or what?
I can't do Rocky Balboa. I wanted to do John Paul Ostamas like Rocky Balboa.
That'd be pretty good, yeah.
And I can't. Yeah, but because Rocky Balboa he's a very good mix of Sloth from the Goonies and Sylvester Stallone. That's what I wanted to do for John Paul Ostamas, but it ain't happening.
All right. Based on a joint recommendation from the Crown and defense lawyer, Ostamas was sentenced to life in prison without a chance of parole for 75 years.
Why is that a joint thing? It's like, yeah, well, we were going to go for 150 years, but we'll take it down to 75.
Yeah, the defense lawyer's like, that's good. That's very good.
Which is, 25 years per victim. That's fucked up. Defense was maybe it was all his choices, just being like.
The really weird thing about this is that is a sentence. That is a real sentence.
That is a real sentence.
And you do not see that in Canada ever.
Just one other time.
Yeah. Like shit. Like if they would actually sentence murderers like that more, like.
Wasn't there something that just came out? Somebody was given like 3 years for something. Oh, what the hell was it? I don't know. It was disgusting though.
I don't know.
It was 2011 was when the laws were changed to allow the consecutive sentencing like this, but it was the guy down in the eastern part of the country that killed the 3 police officers that was the first one to be sentenced like that. And then like this one, I honestly don't think he should have got 75 years.
Well, I don't know. Robert Picton didn't even receive a sentence like that, did he?
No.
Like his wasn't even.
He's gonna be in jail forever, but
his life. But it wasn't even that much of a sentence. Like, I can't recall a sentence being that actual legitimate, because it just doesn't happen. They're like, yeah, you killed 10 people. Okay, 3 years and don't do it again. Okay, thanks.
All right, you molested a child and took away their innocence.
Okay, no internet.
No internet. Stay off the internet. Yeah. Nobody give them Wi-Fi codes. Yeah. And 2 years probation.
Exactly. And now all of a sudden they decide to fucking...
And you'll learn your lesson that way.
Now they want to be a justice system all of a sudden in this case? Yeah. That's amazing. And it's hardcore justice. They took a guy that was mentally ill and they fucking smashed him.
Right? That's what I figured would be a good talking point.
Guarantee he's going to take his meds for the rest of his life.
That's one thing, right? Ron Manias, Miles' father, said,
I'm happy to know he'll be gone for a long time. Society does not have to live with this man.
Ron had already forgiven his son's killer by the time he heard Ostamas' apology in court. He said,
It didn't do anything to me because I could never get my son back. I have nothing to say before and after when he apologized. It's of no consequence to me because I'll never see my son again.
All right, so the motives for the brutal killings remain unclear to this day, over 3 years later. Ostamas has said that he was seeking retribution for a sexual assault on his pregnant girlfriend by 4 men, but police have not been able to verify the incident ever took place. Greg Brodsky, Ostamas' lawyer, explained that Ostamas had a long-time diagnosis of schizophrenia, and though he sought help over the years at multiple psychiatric hospitals in the Thunder Bay and Winnipeg areas, he was always sent home after a matter of weeks. In some cases, he was sent away without medication.
Sweet.
Yeah. His sister said he was a normal kid until he hit his teenage years. After an altercation with police during a break-in, he had to be hospitalized, suffered scars, and fell into a deep depression.
Yeah, his Facebook page referenced a few things about the police. They said they did me wrong and violated my rights, and I called them the worst criminals on earth. And,
can you call somebody a normal kid after they have an altercation with police during a break-in that they're perpetuating? Like, he was breaking into a house when he had the altercation with the police, right?
No, he was a normal kid until he hit his teenage years. It doesn't say until he got into the altercation.
Well, it's kind of what it says, because then it says after the incident he fell into a deep depression, right?
Yeah,
mm-hmm. But before, like
deep depression,
he was a normal kid, and then he started breaking into.
And then
stuff.
Okay.
That's how I read it, anyways.
Yeah. Ostamas later attempted suicide multiple times, had hallucinations, and would go long periods without eating.
Scurvy. That's why he lost his teeth.
Yeah. In writing, Ostamas confessed to additional killings that his lawyer said were false admissions. Greg Brodsky said,
Page change.
Page change.
We should have an audio cue for that.
Page change. He's building himself into a person that he's not in order to survive the remand center.
The jail system. We're not suggesting it go anywhere but a federal institution.
Oh, so that's what he's doing. Mm-hmm. He's like saying, I killed these people on purpose.
So people don't fuck with me!
Yeah. Richard Schneider is the foremost expert on mental illness and the justice system. I don't know from where, apparently. Just take his word for it.
I am an expert, guys.
He said,
the number of mentally ill people in Canada's jails is embarrassingly high. We know after decades of research that locking people up who suffer from mental illness makes matters worse, not better. President exacerbates symptomatology.
What?
It makes matters worse. They need to be treated by mental health professionals.
Well, if they're there for 75 years, you don't have to worry about it.
Kate Ostamas' sister said,
John deserves to be helped, if it has to be medically for the rest of his life. He was born in this world like anyone else and deserves the fullness of his life, even if it means being taken care of. He is still our brother, and I pray for him.
Now, what did Kate Ostamas' sister say?
Yeah. Jesus. I haven't put the comma there so that I would read it right.
Ostamas' sister.
Ostamas shares the record of the longest anyone has ever been ineligible for parole in Canada with Justin, is it Borg?
Borg.
Who killed 3 RCMP officers in New Brunswick in 2014, like Jesse had said.
That's actually a very surprising verdict, considering how little the police tend to care about homeless people and vagrants.
Yeah.
And prostitutes and the like. They gave him as harsh a sentence as somebody who killed 3 actual RCMP officers.
That's a judge who just wanted to do it just to say I did it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I mean, the defense was backing it too.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So,
yeah, like
did he think that if he went to if he was put into a mental hospital that he would have to
they won't let him listen to rap music anymore.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. That's what it was, the rap music.
Yeah, no Notorious B.I.G. if you go to a psychiatric center.
But did they think that would, or did he think that he would have a harder time in there?
Honestly,
or has he had such bad experiences in the past that he's just like, fuck that shit?
If I had the option of going to a correctional facility or a psychiatric unit, I think I'd choose the correctional facility.
Yeah.
Because you are not going to be the craziest person in that fucking facility, and some of those people are fucking insane. Look at in our psych ward.
Yeah.
There's at one point in time a third of the staff were injured from the inmates.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's way more volatile and dangerous than general population at a correctional facility.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yes, but also if you prove yourself to be not one of the super crazy ones, that's when you get your chances for day passes and stuff like that.
It's true. I mean, that is another way you can take it and go. And if you prove that you maybe won't eat a kid or
eat a kid,
then go on my 1 hour day pass and
then you might go on a day pass. But
well, I mean, what's his name was out for a day.
Yeah, exactly. We just covered that
time. What the hell's his name? You guys know.
That was Peter Woodcock.
Woodcock. There we go.
The old triple dick.
Yeah, old triple dick.
Yeah, he got out on.
You heard the story about old triple dick? Well, boom, boom, boom.
But I mean, there's 2 ways you can look at it. But if you're fucking crazy, you're not thinking that way either. You're not thinking wow, I can game this system and get out. You're just thinking there's somebody in my head telling me to fucking slap somebody with a fucking slice of pizza and then pee on
If
them.
only he'd done that.
If only that's all it was.
Yeah. It might have started that way and then it got volatile. Yeah, schizophrenia is fucking trippy. If you ever seen a schizophrenic fighting with themselves, and, it's messed up.
Watch Fight Club.
Yeah.
There was that. Well, I mean, he was basically a kid, but a bunch of us, I don't know if you knew him growing up or anything, but he killed his dad a few years ago because of schizophrenia. But he was one of the kids that hung out on Broadway a lot, way back in the day.
I'm sure I've seen him at some point.
Can't remember his name though. But yeah, he was. I think he's been released too, from the hospital.
And if this was like
a while ago, I mean, not just
Not like 10 years ago, not 12 years ago.
Yeah, like a little while ago, like he would have been released.
No, I mean, like, but when would he have been on Broadway? When we were younger?
Oh, yeah, like high school years.
Yeah, so we're on the same time. Yeah, I'm sure we've seen him at some point.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I got a few more stats or thoughts about the homeless stuff. Medicine Hat has not ended homelessness. They have definitely helped it out. I actually just read a report card that they put out.
When was that?
This is from 2017. They put out this report card.
Oh, I missed that one then because I read the other one then.
Dealing with it very well.
Yeah.
Like within 3 days of them finding out about a homeless person or whatever, or within 3 days of them finding out about a homeless person, they try and have one of their workers meet with them, and then within 10 days, try and have them into either a recovery program, if it's to do with drugs or alcohol, or psychiatric counseling, and they try and get them into a home. But yeah, they haven't ended homelessness, but they have done an insanely good job of trying to mitigate the problems that cause homelessness.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else.
And that's the key to it is psychiatric and addictive help, right, for your personality in general. And you can't just throw money at something and expect it to go away. You need to.
No, that's what they've been doing for fucking years already.
You need to fix the actual root of the problem.
The
which
same
is the
people
person
just end up back at the hospitals and everything over and over again.
Well, that's it. And they had stats there that that showed the amount of hospital visits and 911 calls and stuff have dramatically decreased due to this. Because people can take care of themselves and they're not ODing, they're not getting beat up, they're not beating up any other people. So it's really helped their crime rate and their health services budget, I guess.
It's not like people like living on the street and being dregs of society. It's just something you fall into and you can't get out. So I mean, somebody throws you a rope, you can grab on and you fucking get back into life again, I guess. And
it's like a perpetual tornado of just like addiction and neglection.
Yeah.
Well, it's there's a thing here. Family conflict and family breakdown is one of the most common reasons, as well as death. So some people talked about the death of a spouse or a child, and then that's what sets them off, and they don't recover from that. There was a lot of people who experience homelessness that have gone through some sort of trauma in their lives. As they get older, the trauma builds up and it becomes harder and harder to manage, and then they lose it all. So yeah, it's things affecting them, and they're trying to cope with that through drugs or alcohol or gambling, and you lose it all.
As the Joker points out so poignantly in The Killing Joke, all it takes is one bad day to become the bad guy or the crazy one.
Yep.
To lose everything.
Snap.
Because you could be the absolute epitome of a virtuous person, and you could have everything going, and then everything could fall apart at an instant.
Yeah, then your whole life turns upside down and you're left going, what the fuck? And then it just gets worse from there.
And you just spiral. And that's what happens to a lot of these people.
There's a lot of people who don't even want to start to try to deal with their trauma either.
No, and that's the thing too.
All.
Some people go through things that they don't even want to talk about. They don't want people to know about. They hide. And then
then they hide it behind alcohol or pills or anything.
It just festers.
Yeah.
Apparently, Ostamas was basically the highest in the whatever, like 90th percentile of people that are homeless, especially in Winnipeg. Their median age is 40 years old, so he was 39 or whatever. So he was right around there. 69% of them were male, and 76% of them are Indigenous.
How much percentage Indigenous?
76.
Yep.
Holy crap!
So he was everything that a homeless person appears to be.
Yeah.
And in 2015 there was 1,727 people experiencing homelessness in Winnipeg. 475 were absolutely homeless. They literally had nowhere to go. And then the remaining 1,252 were in transitional housing or would stay in a hotel or whatever, but still had no place to call their own.
Winnipeg winters are pretty much the exact same as ours, and it is not fun to be homeless in that situation.
You're looking at like -40, -50 wind chills. That's Celsius.
Yeah, if not...
We've been getting a lot of listeners from the States. Like, States do most of our listening.
Oh, yeah, I guess, we should probably explain our weather patterns. Yeah, minus... I think once you hit minus 40, Celsius and Fahrenheit actually mingle. They become the same. 40? Yeah, I think it's minus 40. But aside from that, it's completely different. But minus 40, we become one. So
very weird. It takes them to get that cold.
Yeah, I don't think they ever do.
Just jump on the other side of the world.
Maybe Alaska. Maybe Alaska does at some point.
Well, like what about the northern states, like Montana or whatever? Like,
yeah, but I don't even think they get that cold. Like North Dakota and Montana.
I think there's something about a prairie fucking winter that is just.
Yeah, but they're bald prairie too. Like
they are because they're so close to Regina. Yeah. They're basically a part of that prairie province.
Join Canada.
So maybe it's just about being a little further up north then that makes that drier air.
Could be.
It does. The further north you go, the shittier it gets. It's in central Saskatchewan, and then Winnipeg it might even be slightly worse because it's a little bit orientated more north, I believe, from where we are.
They're around
shitty regardless.
Yeah.
Lakes as well.
Yeah, so it's rough. And then obviously I think North Dakota is very similar. Montana, I mean, aside from their landscape, I think they get fairly cold.
I love how we just started talking about the weather. And I'm like interested in it.
But as a homeless person, that's a massive thing you have to worry about.
Yeah. Then if you go into Saskatchewan to Cypress Hills, it becomes something completely different. We have we have scorpions and snakes over there.
Yeah, we were there a few years ago. Well, I used to go every year.
Did you read my Facebook story about my trip to
Cypress Hills?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you have to check that out.
I'm going to. What, did you see scorpions?
No, I had the worst beginning to a trip.
Yeah. He had
probably
never been
ever.
to Cyprus before.
I'll might as well just tell it.
Just tell the story.
Okay, so there's myself, my wife, Sean, and his then girlfriend Deed, and mutual friends Ryan and Aaron. We had all booked a campsite on Father's Day weekend at Cypress Hills Campground. So I got off work early. We packed up the van. My brother helped. We left by like 2:00 in the afternoon, and I Google mapped. It was like the Cypress Hills Campground. Had it on Google Maps. We were a blue blip heading down the road towards our adventure, and then we got to Maple Creek. And I didn't know what campground we were staying at, so I texted Deed, and I was like, "What's the campground?" She said it was Battle River or War something. And so I put that in, exact same route that we were sent on before from Google Maps. I was like, fucking A, life is good. We cross over the border into Alberta. Mm-hmm. And then, so I'm looking for a sign because I know shortly after that is our turn to head south, head to the campground.
And just so you know, you're supposed to go through Maple Creek to get to Cypress.
I learned this later on.
And Ryan also passed it too.
He'd already gone too far.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I'm looking for my turn. I expected a big sign, Cypress Hills Campgrounds or whatever. There's nothing. We drive past the gravel road. My wife's like, that's the road it says to take. So I was like, okay, weird, whatever. So we go down this road and we're actually following a camper. So we're like, okay, well, they're heading to a campground too. Awesome. And we're on this road for half an hour. And then it starts getting what I expect Cypress Hills to look like. Like there's tall trees and there's hills and it looks really beautiful. But we're getting deeper into this and there's still like there's no main gate. There's no area where you go book your campground or whatever. So I was like, Google Maps rocks. They got us into the freak entrance to the campground. And we just continue driving and we see a couple signs that say have different names of campgrounds to go to. So I was like, sweet. And we get to our turn off and it's a quad trail with a metal gate across it.
Oh.
It's like, okay, well, that's not right, but we know the approximate direction and there's a road that sort of goes that. So we follow this road and then the road narrows down so it's like a single lane. So there's no ability for people oncoming to pass us. Like, well, this is fucked, but we're not that far away. We'll get there. And then there's just a bunch of deadfall along the sides of the road.
As if we wouldn't have like warned you guys about like watch out for the really fucking rough terrain. Like
there's a single lane and it's a logging camp.
Yeah.
Well, at one point we actually have to cross a creek with the minivan.
You could see the rocks in the bottom, but
So I was just like, fuck, well, we've got nowhere else to go but to continue going on. And we've got no cell service because we're so far down into the hills.
Yeah.
So just like, fuck. We make it up out of the hills. We get some cell service. And Ryan calls. He's like, did Google Maps fuck you guys too? I was like, pretty sure it did. And he's like, oh, where are you? So we just passed some road markers or whatever and sent those to him. He's like, you're in the wrong province. It's like, what? So go on to Google Maps again and spread it out. And there is 2 separate Cypress Hills.
Yeah.
One's in Saskatchewan.
It's an interprovincial.
Yeah. So you went to the Alberta side.
Yeah.
Both.
Which Google Maps said our campground was in. But anyways, so we now know where we're going. We have to basically cross through pasture land. We're going over cattle crossing and having to honk the horn to scare deer and cattle off the road so we can get to a main highway to get back to Maple Creek. But we have a destination at least.
Yeah.
So we get onto a highway and we're going to follow it to the number 1 and take that back to Maple Creek. But there's another grid road that says Maple Creek, whatever, 45 kilometers. So it was actually going to shave probably 30 minutes off of our initial drive. So we drive and we actually make it to the intersection of the first gravel road that we took to the campground. 5 minutes after that, we crest a hill and then we hit some washboards, but there was no washboard. So I was like, well, this is fucked. Get out of the van. We've got a flat tire.
Oh, fuck.
Sweet. And the axle on my van had dropped so much I couldn't get my jack underneath it.
Oh.
So I'm trying to find a rock that I could go a little bit further down the axle and try and jack it up and move things over so I could get my tire off.
It's like I'm reliving the story the first time again.
But I couldn't get it done. But the girl drives by in an old Ford. She'd just finished work and she had a scissor jack that was able to get underneath my axle so I could jack it up. I was like, you are awesome. Jack it up, get the flat tire off, get it underneath the hub or whatever. And then I go to get my spare tire off, but it is fused to the van. The cable is rusted and I can't get the spare tire down. So I was just like, for fuck's sake. So I'm trying to pry it down. I've got nothing to cut it with. But the girl that initially pulled over to help us, a girl that she works with and her dad, they drive by and they stop to make sure everything's good. And it's like, no, things are not good. But he had tin snips with him. So I use that. I cut the cable, get the donut put on, and give them profuse thanks because we would have been screwed.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. And during this time, Jocelyn had called Ryan and said, we got a flat tire. We're going to be late. We'll be on our way. So get the tire on. Jocelyn calls Ryan again and says, okay, we're on the road. We're good to go. So we drive away. 30 seconds later, my brother calls. He's like, yeah, there's a cooler full of food in your house right now. So we left all our food at home, too.
Oh, no.
So Jocelyn started crying, and I just started laughing.
It was just like it was that breaking moment. You were just talking about one more thing.
One bad day.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jocelyn, she just starts crying, and I literally just start laughing because I was like, what the fuck else can happen now? Well, we get to... So I tell Jocelyn, like, and our spare tire wasn't even in that great shape, but I was like, we'll get to Maple Creek, we'll check the tires. If everything's good, we'll continue on our way to the campground. Got to Maple Creek, and the tire was still good, so it was like 20 minutes away. We'll go, we get our tent set up. Ryan and Sean help set it up, because it's fucking dark at that point. Like, we've been traveling for like 8 hours for what should have been like a 3 or 4 hour drive.
3.5 to 4 hours, yeah. Well, that might be loud.
And, yeah, and Ryan and Aaron, it was their turn to cook supper that night, so they had steak and beer ready. I just had beer. That's all I wanted was just beer. And then the next day, we found the 15-inch tire in Maple Creek 10 minutes after they closed.
Oh, shit.
But they were still there, and they put the tire on for me in like 10 minutes. I offered them beer. They said no, so I offered them money, and they said sure, because they were on their way to go camping too. And went out and bought groceries from the co-op in Maple Creek, and they had moldy tomatoes, which we found out once we got back to the campground.
You didn't realize they were moldy until you got back to the campground?
No, it was on the bottom. They had like the sort of fabric-y stuff on the very bottom of it. So we pull out some tomatoes. We're gonna make kebabs, and then all the ones at the bottom were moldy. It's like,
what's the population of Maple Creek?
Probably around 3,000 or so.
Oh yeah,
2,500.
That's substantial.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
But so yeah, that was our adventures in Maple Creeking.
That sounds.
But
fun.
yeah, like like Ryan should have been there hours before I got there, but I got there about an hour after him because he had taken like a 6-hour journey as well.
I should have been there hours before
and then
Ryan.
Jesse should have been there before Ryan almost too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were the first ones to leave.
Yeah. So really, my car should have been the last one in.
So apparently it's really hard to get Cypress Hills.
It's actually not. If you're going down, if you're going, what highway is that? What number is that?
Highway 1.
Just make sure you turn left into Maple Creek at the junction, and then you're fine.
Yeah, make sure you go to Maple Creek.
To Maple Creek.
You heard it here first, folks.
But when I checked in the next morning to actually pay for my camp or whatever, I was like, this is what happened. And the girls working the desk are like, you're not the first person that's happened to, but they're like, we don't control Google Maps, so I don't know what to tell you.
We're actually getting advertisements from the United States now in this city. There's that Williston, North Dakota that's advertising. And they're like, only 150 kilometers south of Weyburn. And it's like,
I haven't seen that.
And it's like, why would we ever want to go fucking North Dakota? That's just
and how is
cheap booze.
How is Weyburn the big
I don't know
travel
but it's
destination?
Like,
you've heard of it, right?
As we were just mentioning, you go into Montana or North Dakota, you're essentially going into another fucking province of Saskatchewan, or another city in Saskatchewan. It's all the same shit until you go further south.
But they have cheaper booze.
They do have cheaper booze. Yeah, that's true.
Do they have less percentage of alcohol in that booze?
Well, not for the hard alcohol is exactly the same.
Okay, I guess.
And the shitty beer you can get like Budweiser and Coors. I'm assuming would be the same.
You remember seeing SLC Punk?
Yes, long ago, yeah.
Have you seen SLC Punk?
I've seen like the last half hour of it. I haven't seen all of it.
They're talking about like it obviously takes place in like the 80s, Salt Lake City in the 80s or whatever. Punk's coming up or whatever. But they're talking about how they have to get booze and they have to go over to Wisconsin or something like that from where they are, from Salt Lake City. Which state is close to?
Yeah.
Would it be that one? You have to go north or south. I don't know which way.
Wisconsin would be north of Utah.
So yeah, it could be that. That's probably where they're going, and they have to get. Otherwise, they have to settle for beer in the city, which is because of basically prohibition still stuck around. The beer is less percentage, so you have to drink twice as much to get drunk. So you just drive to Wisconsin, but how is that helping anything if the states still do that? Put like beer at like half the percentage.
I don't think they still do that. Maybe some random states.
Just like in SLC Punk, they mention how you not only have a drunk, you have a drunk who's fat and gross. Because that's what you would have then.
Because you're spending the same amount of money to get half the beer, so you have to spend twice as much money. So you're bringing that much money in taxes into it. Yeah.
And then you're just fat and gross.
They're known for their weak ass beer in the States, though. Unfortunately,
for
our United States listeners, you'll have to make your way down to Canada or up to Canada, I should say.
Don't go down to Canada.
We are your
Mexico.
Yeah. We are your hat. You are our shirt.
Children will get taken
Mexico.
at the border.
Mexico is the pants, and who's the asshole? Who would be the asshole?
Well, just Trump in general.
Well, Florida is the wang.
Florida's the wang. So who's on the other side of that?
California to be the asshole.
California is the asshole of North America. That's
nobody wants to make a full yes for sure on that.
There's a good chance that California is going to be underwater within the next 100 years. So pretty soon we'll have no ass. That's a damn shame.
At least in California, they believe in climate change and everything, you know.
They have some super strict environmental stuff. Like when you're pumping gas, there's actually a vacuum on the nozzle that's sucking up the gas fumes as you're dispensing it.
Holy shit!
California is on the forefront of like the fucking everything for the environmental concerns, VOCs.
So they should be the first ones to know when to like start moving inward.
Well, they also are completely broke and have no water, and right now they've just switched to requiring solar panels on your house on every roof.
You know, all they really need is just one genius to come out there and create something that can. That's been going on for a little while. Create something that can effectively turn ocean water into drinkable water. Quick and efficient.
It exists in Waterworld.
Does it? Because they're fighting over fresh water.
Yeah, in Waterworld, remember he uses that fucking filter. He pisses into it.
Oh, yeah.
And then it filters his piss back into drinking water.
But maybe that's just...
Well, astronauts have that already.
Yeah, so we got the technology.
There's also those ones in Africa that went. You stick it. It's like a straw. You stick it into the water. You can drink straight from the
life straw.
Yeah, that's what it's called. There we go.
But in order to make
the
that
pond water.
Yeah, in order to make that feasible on a large scale, though, I can't imagine the filtration system they would need.
Yeah, there's so much salt
to
in the
filter
ocean.
out all that sodium.
That's what I mean. Like, just need one person to come in. There hasn't been anything invented in a while. Come on, people.
Get your shit together.
Stop concentrating on me undies and concentrate on me water.
All right, follow along everywhere.
Yeah,
really
iTunes, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, Canada's Crawl Space on Facebook, at Canada's Crawl Space on Instagram, at Hank Hill's Ass on Instagram,
Seinfeld on Instagram.
Echo Side, 13 Echo Side on Instagram.
I should probably change my Instagram name.
And eventually one day we'll have a Twitter, so look out for that.
Yeah, someday.
No, we won't.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe.
Well, not if I'm responsible.
Yeah.
Corey said I am, so.
Yeah.
I
don't even understand Twitter, so I don't fucking know.
All right, good night, everyone.
Bye. See you in a while.
Okay, I love you. Goodbye.
Okay, bye-bye. I love you.